Well, good evening, everyone. Good to be in your companies once again for another session of Phenomenal Leadership. I'm your friend, Bishop-elect Edlin Scott, and really excited about the opportunity that I've been given to share with you. Listen, being in your company really does a whole lot for me. Sharing with you week after week does a whole lot for me. And so I'm grateful to God for all that He is and all that He continues to do. Thank God so much. You know, of the billions of people that's on the planet, He put us together. And I believe that He put us together for a specific reason. I don't believe that we've been placed together just because you needed to be with somebody or I needed to be with somebody. I believe He's placed us together for me to help you get where you need to be, and for you to help me to get where I need to be. And so I want you to reach out to somebody and let them know that I'm live with Phenomenal Leadership. We air twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. And then on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. is also our Morning Glory Saturday. And then Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. we go live again for another session of Morning Glory. So I'm really excited about what's going on in our life. I began to preach this weekend and I talked about this is not the promise. You know, a lot of things we are accepting, a lot of things we are taking for granted, a lot of things we figure that's the way it is. Not necessarily. It's not God's promise for your lives. And so I want you to always, if you go after nothing else in life, go after the promise that God has made to you. When you go after the promise that God has made to you, it's going to bring complete fulfillment to your life. It's going to bring complete fulfillment to your life when you go after the promise that God has for you. And so Abraham went after some other things, and God says, no, that's not it. But what comes out of your bowels, what comes out of you, is what your heir is going to be. And I want you to understand this evening, that your breakthrough is coming out of your prayer. Your breakthrough is coming out of your travailing, your sacrifice, your worship, your praise. Your breakthrough is coming out of that. So I'm really excited. Got a beautiful teaching for you tonight. We're going to talk about, do you know what a leader is? Do you know what a leader is? And that's going to be the topic that we're going to talk about tonight. One of the things that I've come to realize is that if you don't know what you're looking for, you more than likely will never find it. If you have no idea what you're looking for, you'll never find it. And if you have the wrong idea about what you're looking for, again, you'll never find it. I heard a story today about someone who don't have a passport. And actually a Bahamian person that do not have a passport, never had a passport. But you know what they go around telling people? They been to New York. Now, I don't know, but how is it you could have traveled to New York and you don't have a passport? So you've never left the island. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you have the wrong concept about what you're looking for, you will never get it. Because you know what? If you go down the wrong road, you will never hit your destination. You will never reach your you'll just be going and going and going and going, but you'll never reach. And so what I want to talk about tonight, and I'm not going to bore you, I'm not going to bury you. What I'm going to talk about tonight is, do you know what a leader is? Everything John Maxwell says rise and falls on leadership. I don't care they rise and I don't care they fall. If you don't know who a leader is, you could be sitting next to one, or you could think that you're in the presence of one, and you'll miss the whole thing because you're not aware of what it is. For years, I've had the wrong concept about what a leader is. Leading is influence, but I've had the wrong concept. My aspiration was to get to the top so you could tell everybody what to do and everybody report to you and you boss up everybody. But is that the description, the right description? Bishop Curry likes to say it this way: if you've been taught wrong, you have to be retaught right. And for years, I've been taught wrong. And so, a lot of times you don't want to give up your wrong thoughts, but in order for you to get on the right track, you have to give up the wrong thoughts that has been commanding your life and accept the right thoughts. Replace those wrong thoughts with right thoughts. And so I've always saw it as, I never saw it from the perspective of service. I always saw it as the dictating post. You tell people what to do. You fire, you hire. Everybody looks up to you and everyone trembles when you walk in the room. But that's not what really leadership is all about. So you'll be surprised, you'll be very surprised at the mass misconceptions that is out there about leadership. Now, holding a position of authority has nothing to do with your leadership ability. Holding a position of authority has nothing to do with your leadership ability. Having the big office, you're on the top floor, has nothing to do with your ability as a leader. You could have the superintendent's title, the bishop's title, prophet, the apostle, general overseer, has nothing to do with your ability as a leader. So you can have a position without having the gifts of leadership. The downside to that is you're not going to have anybody following you. And leading is all about following. Because if you don't have people following you, you just going for a little walk. But leading is about people following you, not because they have to, but because they want to. Okay, so true leadership cannot be awarded. And you've seen it a lot of times. You've had one leader that led successfully. There was empowerment, there was inspiration, there was growth, and a new leader comes on the scene, same people, but different effect. In fact, rather than grow the people, they decreased. And in some cases, just didn't exist anymore. So, leadership cannot be awarded. And that's ironic though. Apostle and I were talking about that on last night. We're talking about leadership and transition in all of that. And not because you've been there for a long time means that you are the best person for the job. So leadership isn't something that you could just drop on somebody and automatically it'll just happen. Because if that was so, you remember Joseph's father gave him a coat of many colors. Excellent coat. Boy, I don't know whether to say that coat made him successful or got him plenty trouble. But one thing was evident, it got him plenty trouble. So if you could have awarded somebody leadership, then you could pick anybody out and say, boom, I put my hand on you, I give you these certificates on the wall, take the corner office, drive the limousine, take the elevator up to your floor, here's the access key, and you are a leader. Boy, that would have been so easy. So leadership is not something that can be awarded or even appointed or assigned. Churches do it a lot. Churches do it a lot. You see it in a lot of church circles where there is an empty position in the church. And so you size up a couple of people and then you determine who looks like the position. And then you put them there. Or you say, this person has nothing to do. So let's give them something to do. They've been around a long time. So let's give them that to do. But leadership cannot be awarded, cannot be appointed, and it cannot be assigned. It comes from influence. Leadership comes from influence. There are a lot of people that has the wrong idea about it. Some people get hung up on titles, and you don't possess what is necessary to move the organization forward, or your group forward, or your team forward. And then you lose sight of the hunger of getting, because leadership is something you can learn it, but there must be a hunger for learning, because you can learn it. It is something that you can learn. But if there's no hunger for it, because some people feel like because I've got the position, then I don't need to do nothing because I am there. But your hunger determines how successful you are and how long you be there. Well, again, some people could sit on it. You know, you could hold the baton. You could hold the baton. You could run the 4x4. And there is 4 persons on each team in the 4x4. And you could start off and not pass the baton off to the next person, and because you've held it too long, you cause the entire team lose the race. You must know when it's time to pass it on. And passing it on is one thing, but a good pass speaks to a good race. A good pass speaks to a good race. So, don't lose sight of what it takes to become a leader. Don't lose sight. A leader must be willing to get their hands dirty. You must be an involved person. Leading is about, for years, I used to say this, and I used to say it too. Who is in the pulpit is there to pull people out of the pit. That don't work. In order for you to get somebody really, most people that you need to get out of the pit, You have to go down there and go get them. You have to go there and get them. Jesus could have stayed in heaven and be there and get them. But he came to earth and he mingled among them. I was sharing with somebody, someone came to my store and we were talking, and I was just witnessing to them. And I said, one of the highest ways to show love and care and fellowship with people is eating. Now, I know y'all don't, a lot of people don't pay much attention to eating. But notice Jesus. Notice how important eating was to Jesus. There was 5,000 people. In fact, there are actually 2 stories in the Bible that speaks to where he fed thousands. I think one case he fed like 4,000, the other case he fed 5,000. It always speaks to eating. In fact, some of you got these pictures in your houses of the Last Supper. That's a time of eating. And so I said that's an excellent time to talk. That's an excellent time to bond. That's an excellent time to fellowship with people. All right. Just so that I don't run out of time. I want to help you tonight to rethink what you think a leader is. I want to help you rethink what you think or you've been thinking a leader is. One of the myths that people have is the manager's myth. The manager's myth. And this may even be the commonest one. The manager's myth is this, that leading and managing is the same thing. Leading and managing is the same thing. Nope. Leading and managing is 2 totally different things. Managing is holding things together. Holding things together. Leading is taking people forward. Leading is knowing where to go, when to go, what tools you can need. Leading is all about being out in front. The next thing that needs to be rethought, or you need to rethink, is the entrepreneur myth. And that one is everybody who have a business is an automatic leader. Us business people, if we be honest with you, that ain't not true. That ain't not true. That's not true. Not every entrepreneur is a leader. Not everybody you see selling things got on a uniform, got a cash register, got some keys to a store or something is a leader. No. The next thing to be rethought about or rethink is the knowledge myth. And what the knowledge myth is this. Everybody who's smart is automatically a leader. No. You'll be shocked at the many persons that is smarter than the person, but the person got them doing dumb things. And you see it in a lot of cases. You see kids in school, they're really brilliant, got great futures, but they're not leaders. You could get them to do anything. So that knowledge myth is a problem. Those with power and intelligence are leaders. All that is a part of the knowledge myth. No, not necessarily. Number 4, the pioneer myth. The pioneer myth speaks to being the first is the same as being a leader. You know, the person that goes out there and do it first, that means that they're a leader. Nobody else done that. I am the Captain Kirk of this. I invented that. It don't make you a leader because you've done something. Here's the thing. Remember the story of David? Saul couldn't kill Goliath. Saul was too afraid to even kill Goliath. David killed Goliath, but that didn't make David the king. After David killed Goliath, David went back to keeping the sheep. He went back to keeping the sheep. And David wasn't even a good sheep because he only had a couple sheep. The brother said, where you come from? What you did with my daddy, couple of sheep. The only job you got to do is keep them couple of sheep, and you won't be keeping them good because they ain't been multiplying, they ain't been growing. It's only a couple of sheep. So, the pioneer myth, being the first, is the same as a leader. No, you couldn't be so wrong. That's not necessarily the case. And so you got to watch out for that. You got to watch out for that. Number five, and this is the final one. The position myth. The position myth. Leadership is based on the position that somebody holds. The position that you hold determines that you are the leader. No. So you'll be surprised today how many persons or how many of us out there are looking at managers and saying they're leaders. And so, do you know the extent of people's ability determines how far you go. You cannot go beyond who is leading you on their ability. I could take you right. I could say to you, I want to take you to Miami. So I tell you, I'll come and pick you up, come and get you, take you to the airport, buy you a ticket. You go through customs, you go upstairs, and that's as far as I could take you. Why? We need the pilot to take you across. So what you have or what you achieve in life is tied to the person you follow. The person you call leader has a lot to do with what you are and what you are becoming. People rarely go above their ability. And I think John Marshall called it the law of the lid. The law of the lid means, or it speaks to, if your leader is a 3, you'll probably make it as far as a 2. And if your leader is a 5, your leader will not attract people that are 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. No, it wouldn't happen. Your leader will not attract them. If your leader attracts them, they will not stay with your leader. Because, hey, I'm not gonna let somebody cook if I could cook better than them. I'm not gonna let somebody drive me if they can't drive better than I can. Because it's all about a peace of mind, all about feeling comfortable. If you're not leading me in places I've not been before, why do I need to follow you? So, the myth is managers are leaders, business people. And do you know something? You could be good in an area, and that's the only thing you're good at. Nothing else. Nothing else. Everything else, you like a fish out of water. So you could sell oranges, but you cannot teach people how to become successful. You could sell fish. A young lady came in the store last week and she said to me, I'm looking for a job. So I said, not hiring right now. She says, why are you not hiring? I said, things ain't much selling right now. She said, you know what the problem is? I said, what's the problem? You don't have me. So, see, I mean, she kind of tickled my head to think, okay. So if all I need is you, then I can be selling something. So just hire you and then I could be selling something. So, but she was so adamant about the fact that she could bring change to my business. She could bring change to my environment. She could generate the customer flow that translates to the cash flow that I need. And it was interesting. I continued talking with her, and then I figured at the end of the entire conversation, I think if I could sum up the whole thing, all it was, I need a job. She didn't bring anything else out of the table that other than she needed a job bad, because she knew nothing about computers, she knew nothing about my environment, and she just needed a job. And so I wrapped that up right there. Knowledge. I guess it is human to gravitate to the person that has a lot of knowledge, but are they a leader? Does their knowledge translate out into taking you somewhere? And then position. I guess it's frustrating to be sitting under someone with a big title and can't do nothing. I say this to my staff all the time. I says, if a customer asks for me as the owner, they expect me to do something that you're not able to do. If you are sitting under someone with the biggest name, you expect them to be able to do something for you. You don't want to hear that I can't do nothing for you. You expect to hear something. Great leaders may possess position, knowledge, and a pioneer spirit, but their leadership ability stems directly from their capacity to influence others. Now, understand this. The 5 things that I talked about tonight, the management, the entrepreneur, the knowledge, the pioneer, and the position. All right? I'm not saying not to possess these skills or have these characteristics in you. You can have these characteristics in you. But the number one thing that translates to leadership is your ability to influence. If you don't have the ability to influence, your leadership is weak. All right? Now, where they go, others follow. Who's that? People of influence. Everybody want to be attached to someone that has influence. People don't want to be attached to people who don't have influence. I want to be attached to someone who have influence. And people want to be with people influence not because they have to. They be with them because they want to. And here's the thing I want to wrap up with this. Here's a thought. Okay? The more influence you have, the bigger impact you'll have. Or the bigger impact you'll make. The more influence. You can only help people based on the influence you have in their life. Notice, when people came to Jesus, they came for some unheard of things. When Jesus was passing the graveyard, the man said in the graveyard, who used to be up there cutting himself and then himself, you know what he said? When Jesus was passing the graveyard, have mercy on me, man. You come here to torment me, have mercy on me. Blind Bartimaeus say, have mercy on us. The woman with the issue of blood says, I've been to everybody, they can help me. If I could touch them in your garment, I know that everything will be all right. The centurion says, I'm not worthy of you to come into my house, but if you send the word, then everything is going to be all right. The first miracle in Cana of Galilee, the wedding at Cana of Galilee, Mary said to the disciples and to everyone else at the wedding, whatever he tell you all to do, you all better do it. See, you can only help people based on the level of influence that they have. Remember, the scripture it says many miracles didn't have because it was Jesus' hometown. People just saw, that's the carpenter's son. Who that is talking? That's Scotty, and that's all you are to some people. Oh, man, that's Scotty, man. Man, I know Scotty for a long time. Yeah, that's the one who said, tell me something sweet. And that's as far as it goes. But when you see me as a motivator, then what flows off my tongue motivates you. When you see me as an inspiration, then when you look at me, you get inspired by the things that I do. So it's all wrapped up in the level of influence that you have in people's life, and you can only have them based on that level. If they don't have you don't have no influence in their life, they ain't coming to you. So you got to watch out for things like that. Building great things takes time, effort, and team. Leaders who rely on position to encourage others to continue really raise up. Leaders who just rely on their position to encourage really raises up. Leaders who influence, inspires, and energize others builds legacy and climb in leadership. It's all about inspiration. It's all about bringing energy. It's all about bringing life to people. It's all about, waking them up. When Jesus came to town, Mary and Martha said, Lord, if you was here, our brother wouldn't have died. Because they knew that Jesus brought that kind of life. The word says, I came that you may have life and have it more abundantly. So leaders bring life. You can have a dead situation in the face of a leader, it'll come to life. It does that. Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. Leaders bring inspiration. Leaders bring energy. That's what leaders do. Well, again, not that I'm out of words, I'm just out of time. But I really appreciate you joining me tonight for this session of Phenomenal Leadership. We've been talking about, do you know what a leader is? Do you know what a leader is? I gave you five things to cause you to rethink what leadership is all about. Leadership is not the manager. Leadership is not necessarily the entrepreneur. It's not necessarily the smartest person you know. Not necessarily the person that have done something that nobody else have done. And it's definitely not always, and it may not even be, the person that you know with the most highest position. But I really appreciate you so much for joining. Just go ahead and share this video. Like it, share it. I want to challenge you to go back and watch it again. Go back into it and listen to it again. Those of you that watch it on YouTube, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. And those of you on Facebook, y'all just share this out. Share this out. Am I not getting the success because I've not yet identified a leader? I have not yet identified a leader in my life. Or am I not getting the success that I should have because I don't know what a leader is, and so therefore I can't identify what a leader is? Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Love all of you. Love all of you. Love all of you. I want to say to my wife of 7 years, we have celebrated our anniversary on yesterday. Yesterday was my 7th year wedding anniversary. And so I want to say to my wife, I love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being with me, being in my life these 7 years. You bring meaning to my life. You're my inspiration. Thank you so much. God bless you. Good night.